Mindaugas visą. Bendravardis.
Sako, dar laukia kažko?
Čia kažkas paliko, čia studentai jau čia, ne? Ir noriu tą papiešti.
Ačiū. Okay, so we are going to have one more presentation. It's already the fourth one, and the presenter is Mindaugas Jodaitis. And he's going to deliver his presentation about strategies in e-marketing. And he says, please raise the hands those who don't know Lithuania. He's making jokes. He's going to deliver his presentation in Lithuanian, and he said that though he had some slides prepared in English, but he didn't bring them here. He's going to deliver his presentation about e-commerce, about what you can create by yourselves. He says you can see a robot on the screen, and who is this robot? These are your skills, your tools, which you might use for creating things. This is his profile information. He runs a few businesses related with internet, finances, and he has a list of projects where he with his companies participate. Also, he's going to incorporate his experience with working with Google. Also, we develop their own products. We have web partners, also deal with marketing and programmers. Now he's giving the list of awards which they received. It's personal market. Yes, much better. Much better, thank you. Thank you. He says that you as a person are always like a part of a brand because you are the image of your company. So first of all, the question, who are you, arises. Who of you are initiating or proceeding on the projects right now? Who of you are planning to make some projects? So what the rest of you are doing? Expanding your knowledge? Maybe you would like to be a part of the development of products. Or maybe you will participate in a project, but for now you don't know yet. So the first of all, a question, what is an e-commerce is given. Usually we understand it as products, goods which we can buy. Also it is receiving the contacts. Your website, your e-shop can function for maybe you want to offer a service or something. And business to business part, it's a communication part, cooperation part. Usually it's not an emotional purchasing, but it's rational buying, yes? Rational sales. How is it carried out? How is it going on? If you have a project, what is a good formula to realize that product? how is the successful product, how its image look like, you can see on the screen. First of all, you need to know what you want to sell, to whom you want to sell it, and who is going to buy it. And you have to design it into the scheme. Then the strategy is clear. It means you have answered to yourself the questions. Who is your buyer? And this means that you have done your homework, yes? So it is quite relevant to know how to find new customers, to create a tool for trading, also to know and have enough knowledge about the logistic part, also dealing with customer service. And you can never relax while you're carrying it all out, because you have to look after each space, each stage. To be successful in any shop, first of all, you need to know your client, to know your customer. Who is your customer? Before starting selling something, you need to put aside the technical part. First of all, you need to invest your efforts in knowing better who is your customer. You need to know where your customer is aching, in brackets, yes. How your customer is looking for information. What keywords does he enter in the search field? Is he interested in quality, or the price is important to him? What is the process of your customers buying? When did he make his decision to buy? Has he made it right now, or did he make it half a year ago? What to do when you lose a customer? Usually companies pay enough attention in order to find new clients, but we forget that we need also to take care about the current ones. Yes? Maybe you should spend more time and make more efforts for sustaining your current ones. Maybe you should spend more time for correcting your mistakes and but you know that customers are a part of your business which you have to constantly make efforts to find out if they are happy, what doesn't make them happy, what saddens them, what disappoints, yes? Sometimes you can guess when your customer is going to get back and buy something, but very often you can even organize that event and motivate him to buy. He says, my main message today is personalization and automatization. He says, maybe I won't go very deeply today in these topics, but I give you the main schemes where you should pay more attention. What you need to know. When you have an e-shop or a project, your aim, it is important to catch the flow. Who came? And you need to segment it, to divide it into different categories. Again, he says that you need to know your customer. You can't think of people as we were clouds in the sky. No, no. You can know them better, and you should do that. Then you know who your customers are. You can divide them into groups. For example, then you can foresee that one customer perhaps and most likely is going to buy already tomorrow, while the other one maybe next year. Personal touch is a very good thing, but still nothing starts with a personal touch. First of all, you need to know, and customers need to know you. Then they can call you and ask what we need to know. So he says that it's very good to have a customer's database. And of course, it would be very useful for you to know where he spent his time in your website, where he browsed, what was interesting for him. Because if you do such kind of homework, you will save your time in the future. It's very important part if you have huge sales. Sometimes it might be difficult to sell because there are some certain strategies which can be applied if you know then the customer is going to come back to you and buy something. Customers differ, and by knowing that those differences you can make some certain decisions which might be useful for you. And also when you know what your customer needs, you can provide the necessary information for him, for her. Now the presenter is talking about the web page, that if it's too difficult, of course you will disappoint your customers. So maybe you should pay more time and make more efforts to create a positive website. And of course try to follow how your customer spends his or her time on your web page. Make sure your web page is rather easy to use. Lead nurturing can be called like automatized part of your work. Today everything can be measured and can be evaluated. That's why you should use it. You should use it for implementing your purposes, yes? This means you can count how many people visited your website, what information they looked through. So this is the list of tools which you can apply for working, for knowing your customers better, yes? 360 customer view. This automated part enables you to just to gather all the necessary information about your customer. Imagine a client who entered your website. He browsed a little bit and left. What? In an hour he receives an email. Hi John, we are sending you information with a comparison of the prices. Maybe it will work. What do you think? It should be connected with direct sales, with mobiles and business to business. And also you have always have such a person in your staff who will be always accessible. He can be called, he can be reached and accessed. Now you are going to be a list of tips and tricks what you can use. CIM service. It should be connected with your e-shop, with your sales, your storehouse, warehouses. We love business to business sector, and the representative is going to talk more about the branch of product selling. One of the worst things that I can hear is that, you know what, we don't have a database of our customers. So, my dears, this is the very beginning where you could start with. Marketing workflow. We don't even have a translation into Lithuanian. Usually we say it in English. It's a very useful tool in e-marketing. It's closely associated with e-marketing. Such scenario can be constructed, produced. A person visited your website or turned on the link which he or she has been sent. You can start just like following that client, and your manager can get a task just to make some kind of proposal and send to the customer. For example, imagine that there are 500 companies which are interesting for you. And usually we send letters and we are waiting who is going to answer. And usually we wait for that response. But if you had information that one customer, for example, not only entered your website, but he spent, for example, 10 minutes in your website browsing for this and for that. So we are sure that you would send a letter, and that letter would be more successful to that kind of customer. This can be done quite primitively. But also you can do it in a more elaborate, appropriate way, in a more dynamic way. If you notice that your customer has been interested in one or another product, you can offer him newsletters. This can be quite successfully used by companies who offer services. you can check who is going to participate in one or another exhibition, and to contact those who are going to participate, and then to send an email. We are going to be in the same occasion, in the same exhibition, and so then it would be useful for both of us to contact. And maybe you don't need hundreds of contacts, but sometimes 2 or 3 might be even more useful. A personalized e-shop or website. Sooner or later you will be able to see personalized information, what is actually relevant to you. Depending on what the customer has pressed on the website, he will be offered another product or another service related with that, his last press. Left basket. Quite a number of customers visit your website. They put the items, the goods in their basket, but still they leave. So maybe a good way is to send them emails and just to remind, hello, you forgot that you have chosen things you liked. Maybe we need that kind of recall. Now he's talking about lead nurturing. It's based on the idea that if I don't trust you, I won't buy from you. Now the presenter is talking about the steps which every customer has to go through. So first of all comes attract, then engage and nurture. For example, imagine you get an email with a proposal. I want to meet you, I have a proposal for you. So usually you might not even respond to, but if you have some pleasant experience, maybe if you know the person who is contacting you, the company contacting you, then you might say yes. In the service marketing B2B, in product sales, if you haven't thought about the team, who will participate, who will react, if you haven't thought the person who will react, who will call your customer, for example, if you have a loyal customer who buys every day or every week, but something happens and he stops doing that, and you don't have a person who notices that, and you don't have a physical person, what happens? You might lose your customers, yes? Sometimes one phone call or one email may have a great impact, may motivate your customer. So with that one call, you may arouse the respect, and the customer start looking at you as a trustworthy one. For example, quite often it happens so that on Google I find something what is interesting for me, and if, for example, I need some more information, this means that I will find the contacts and I will try to contact you so that you could answer my questions. So it's very important to have a person who will be able to do that as quickly as possible, because customers enjoy getting answers quite soon, right? Now it's like a summary. Of course, the recommendation is to use the tool to increase your sales. Then you know what tools to use, how to use your tools, your process will be automated. Then point number 2, it's better for you not to forget, is know your client and be ready for a long-term relationship, long-term friendship. And I guess I shouldn't remind you how good it is to have a long-term client, yes, a loyal customer. Also, you can use some certain tools for that, yes? And also to adjust individually. For example, if you have a client for 15 years in a row, is he worth a gift? Of course he is. It's very good to know when is your customer's birthday and have some special discounts or other offers. My friend had a packaging business, such kind of plastics, but he found it difficult to be unique in one or another way. So what he needed to adjust individually. And what we did, we started to know their clients very well. So now they are quite happy and successful because they know even beforehand, in advance of their customer, what they will need. Sometimes customers themselves don't know yet, but they already do. And the presenter is quite ready for you to send the slides or other necessary information, so he's telling his email and his other contacts. Now he says best wishes and have successful business, have successful e-commerce, and make those robots, those tools work for you because you're worth it. Questions? The representative is talking about the chat robots, which react quite immediately when the question is typed, and which are quite useful, and the customer feels that he has been addressed, he has been noticed, and that he's cared about. Because it's impossible, and nobody already employs many people, many staff for working, for doing that, and that's why we can employ the robots to automate the processes and just to type in a typing way. Also, the presenter talked about the personal touch, but still he reminds that it's very important when you can reach someone from a company, when you are heard, when your questions are heard and answered. I know we are discussing that, for example, if you have visited one or another website and you have put some products in your bag and you left the website, so quite many companies send you email and we remind you that you have ordered things like that. Not ordered, but you have had a look and maybe you would like to pay for that.
Daug būdų gauti ant paštą. Yra tam tikros taisyklės, kurias galima paimti.
There are some certain rules how you can get to your customers' email addresses.
Any questions?
More questions? Another representation.
So this presenter is from State Consumer Rights Protection Authority. Her name is Roberta. Hello once again. So overall, all representatives already talked how much you have to look at client, but in the slides I want to show what rules and what rights customer has, what we have to look at and into. Of course, there can be and probably will be conflicts between provider and customer, and I'm gonna tell you how to solve them. So shortly, I'll talk about consumption, consumerism contracts, information about main problems from online shopping, I'm gonna show you some statistics and from authorities' position, I'm gonna show you what we look into as authorities. So here it is customer that buys something for his or his family. Of course, there is a juridical person who's taken in account, who looks into what rights are provided for the customer, and there's rights and rules, and customer who has to pay prices. Of course, there is such things as conflicts, and we are looking into it. There's three main parts that have to be looked into. Consumption for private use. If there is any conflict between juridical persons, on one side there is customer and another is the businessman, and State Consumer Right Protections Authority look if all the products, for example food products, are right for the people, they are allowed and they are not causing any harm for the customers. They are controlling the documentations. We are really interested in our customers, in other customers. We are interested that all the rights would be followed. We are following the civil right codex. On the product there must be detailed information about the product that has to be right and cannot be lied about. So if the person is clicking on the picture for the possible gift or whatever he is choosing to buy, there must be detailed information about the product. Of course, if we also checking if the person has all the documentation and nobody is breaking any law, all the right numbers, emails, codes that they are allowed to buy on. Provider has to give all the possible information for the customer. It happens that customer buys some product and the product doesn't have instructions in, for example, Lithuanian language, and he cannot use it. Sometimes provider says, oh, you can read it in Russian, you can read it in English, but as our authorities say, protection authority, you cannot do that. The instruction must be written down in the national language of that country that you're providing the product to. There's also rights on how long the delivery must be. And how long the project will be delivered. So for our civic code, it cannot be no longer than 30 working calendar days. According to our laws in Lithuania, with any product, it has 2 years guarantee. For example, if the customer receives the product without Lithuanian instruction or any other language that he speaks in and brings it to any place that basically translates it, the provider, the service, must pay him back the money. But overall, in the first place, it cannot happen. There must be the national language of the country and then instructions. Of course, there are some laws that protect businesses as well. You cannot give back the products that have been opened, for example, in wrong way, and it is unhygienic to give it back. If the customer decides that he doesn't want the what he bought because of, for example, bad color, provider has to pay the shipping, but everything else is paid by the customer. But if what he bought is just not working, the service, the provider must pay back everything. What we are advising is, in between when you bought it, keep the receipt, and in between 14 working days you have to provide your request for giving back the thing that you bought, and the receipt or any paper that you got from delivery man should be provided as a proof that it is yours. So in that 14 days from the day that the provider, the time that he received the complaint, in 14 days he must give back the money. If it is later, it can be that customer requires or wants, consumer wants the full price back, but it can be that he will have to pay for the delivery after 14 days. Okay, so there is problematic sides when the services do not provide the bought thing in 30 working days. So there's one of the breaking the law reasonings. Another problematic side is that provider doesn't send the right thing, not working thing. So if the customer buys refrigerator or something, and he checked the package and it was completely fine, but he didn't open it straight away. So 1 month later, he opens, then decided it. And he sees that it is broken. According to the laws, the customer has the right to open the package next to the delivery man and see if it does work or doesn't. There's times when provider doesn't agree on giving back the money. For example, if it is not returnable and it cannot be negotiated. Overall, it cannot be happening. The provider must give back at least half of the price or some negotiated part of the money. Of course, bankruptcy is another problematic side of the businesses. From 2014, there is list of the both things or products that can be returnable only if the provider is positively, nicely agreeing to take it back. If you're buying online, according to the laws, if you're buying in 14 days, after you bought in 14 days, you technically can return the product. Online, you can return in 14 days. If you're buying face-to-face in a shop, some products cannot be returned, and there was the list that can be negotiated as the products. We are talking about the codex and the civil rights. That it can be the return policies are broken or something is wrong. The return or the conflict between consumer and the provider can even go straight to the court. If the provider does not agree on something that he should or that he could do, for example, a return or give back the money, the consumer can go to us, which is once again a state consumer rights Protection Authority fill the papers, and then we as an official authority start looking into the business and straight into conflict. And after these, there's still the provider can fully pay back partially, or still absolutely refuse to. At the moment, if you are giving our authorities the papers that you want to try to get this conflict dealt with us, the approximately days that it will take you is 43 days right at the moment. Of course, there is, once again, we are repeating ourselves that any of huge issues can be even taken to the court. From 2015 to 2017, we see on the slide the stats, how many people trying to reach us about the broken rights, the customer rights. They are emailing, calling us, asking for advice what they should do. So from 2017 here we have the stats why people are reaching us. So 63% are for the broken rights. Of course, unfortunately I cannot see the slide really clearly, but there's already the lady saying that some people are reaching us because of delivery time. Something is broken while delivery was taken. But usually it is about the provided services and disruptions. If we are looking in 2016-2017, straight to the shop, we are talking right now about face-to-face real shops, there is 11% less people are buying in the malls, in the shops, and that 11% is going to the online shopping. That just shows how many people are now choosing online shopping rather than face-to-face. So here it is all for today. Any questions about the rights? much. Any questions about the rights, policies? No questions? That's once again applauses for representative from State Consumer Rights Protection Authority. Okay, we are apologizing. We just got to know that we don't have the director or Darius Shilkus, commercial director, Mantas Milesius, from company Comiximas.
But we are going to have a presentations of our project partners, and we welcome them to start. Okay, and here you won't need us, the translators, because everything will be done in English. And the starters are our guests from the UK. So we give a space to them. Maybe we will need a few minutes for the preparation, both technically and psychologically. So let's be understanding and let's listen what we have to deliver for us. We are going to talk about the e-commerce situation in the context of their country. So for example, in this particular case, the e-commerce situation in the UK. Then of course our partners from Denmark are going to deliver the presentation, also our partners from Spain and Netherlands. And at the very beginning we are going to have a discussion and to discuss everything what was covered.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to present at your conference this afternoon. It's an honour. And also I'd like to thank all the previous speakers. There's a lot of good and consistent information that they have provided, consistent in the sense that it applies to my country as well as yours. Okay? What I'd like to do this afternoon is just give you a very brief presentation in terms of the e-commerce situation in the United Kingdom today. Very large, very large. As you can see, the estimates that I put on the board there are demonstrating that the figures are increasing and increasing and increasing year on year. 80% of the UK's internet users, so 80% of the UK's internet users, computers and also mobile devices, 80% predominantly shopped online. Okay? So the e-commerce situation at the large level, at the macro level, the e-commerce situation in the UK is very healthy, very strong. This graph just illustrates that a little bit more for you. So you can see at the top, China is the largest e-commerce economy. Perhaps you would expect that. China has a very large population and very good infrastructure in terms of its technology. Okay, so online shopping, e-commerce is huge in China. Obviously, you would probably anticipate that the United States of America is somewhere near the top. But what's interesting with this slide is, where are the other European countries? There's France. There's Germany. Where are all the rest? Okay? What I read from that slide is opportunity. Okay? Opportunity. And I think, as we have demonstrated this morning through many of the presenters, I think that opportunity is beginning to present itself to the other European countries, for sure. Okay? In this slide, in the last 12 months, the percentage of UK consumers that bought online has gone up to 87%. So in the 2 years since 2015, we've increased our e-commerce shopping by 7%. 87% of UK consumers. That means there's only 13% of UK consumers that aren't yet shopping online, using e-commerce to shop online. Now, when you think that many of those consumers are perhaps older, not necessarily used to the technology, to the way of dealing with e-commerce, and you align that with the fact that the UK's demographic, its population, is very old, so an aging population, that's a significant figure. That means that 87% is coming from the bottom of the demographic pyramid, not the top, not the wide bit. That's significant. We are second only to Norway, as it says there in terms of Europe. Second only to Norway in terms of our purchases across Europe. Okay? So we are second only in terms of our spending across Europe. We don't just spend in our own country. We spend with you guys as well. Okay? It's widespread. It's widespread. And again, a graph there just to illustrate. Where do we do our spending, is what this graph is telling you. Where do we, UK people, do our spending? Amazon at the very top. Everybody aware of Amazon, yeah? Correct? Everybody? Yeah? You would expect that, yeah? Amazon is a one-stop shop for virtually anything, yeah? eBay, second. Similar to Amazon. Very similar to Amazon, okay? But then when you come down the graph, the home retail group, Tesco, Walmart, they're all supermarkets. Big supermarkets who have realised very early in the development of e-commerce that that was exactly the platform that they had to go down. Okay? So what we have are the supermarkets, the big supermarkets, dominating that graph as well. Now, interestingly, this graph is a little bit out of date. Okay? Because the third company down, the home retail group, was bought by the bottom company, Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's is one of the biggest supermarkets in the UK. Sainsbury's bought the Home Retail Group, which means that Sainsbury's is now the third largest e-commerce retailer in the UK. So a supermarket is now the third largest retailer, below Amazon and eBay. To bring us even more up to date, Tesco's, who are the fourth on the graph, they're a supermarket, but they are also buying, it says Walmart on my graph. In England, we know it as Asda, which is another supermarket. So one supermarket is buying another supermarket out, which means that their online presence is also going to significantly increase. So we're seeing consolidation in our marketplace, and consolidation primarily around the capacity to undertake e-business, e-commerce. Okay? Companies strategically are looking for strength from their e-commerce capability. Where's it all coming from? Mobile technology is now the lead e-commerce technology in the UK. Okay. Primarily driven by infrastructure, we have a fairly robust 4G mobile network now in the UK. That facilitates a lot of online shopping. Wherever we may be, we can pretty much be assured to be able to get onto the internet and undertake some shopping. Okay? And as you see from the figures there, by 2018, they say that 18% of all retail will come from the mobile platform. But as we go forward, the forecast for 2040 is that 95% of the UK's retail transactions will be mobile by 2040. That's an immense change. Immense change. Okay? Therefore, absolutely, the mobile market and the mobile retail market is a highly desirable market for companies to be in. Okay? That's the big situation. That's what I call the macro situation. Okay? That's the big situation. We have to now consider the smaller areas. Now let me just draw something. I have to draw. You've got beautiful drawing. I have to draw. Okay. Okay, two very simple triangles, one pointing up, one pointing down, okay? One representing business in the UK, one representing customers in the UK. If I divide this triangle into three, we have the large organisations, the Tesco's, the Amazons, the Asdas. We have the medium organisations, the medium-sized organisations, and then we have the small. Somewhere in the middle here, we have what we call SMEs, the small to medium-sized organisations. SMEs, small to medium-sized enterprises, make up the largest market of business in the UK. We are highly populated with small to medium-sized enterprises. Now we do this the same with customers. The largest percentage of customers is affiliated to the larger organisations. Most people go to the large organisations to undertake their e-commerce. Okay? Perhaps understandably. As we get down the middle, obviously we're saying that there are fewer customers here at the bottom of this triangle going to the smaller or the small to medium-sized enterprise companies to undertake transactions. That poses a significant problem for these organisations. How do they get market need to do to attract more customers to them? How can they compete with the larger, more powerful organisations that have that pull power where customers are concerned? It's a major problem for us. Okay? So, what do our small to medium-sized enterprises have to do? What do they need to do? If you think of a small to medium-sized company, they're typically known as being quite entrepreneurial, very quick to respond to the market, very agile. So you think that they should actually be able to keep pace with the technological changes and the demands that e-commerce are placing upon them. They should be able to keep pace. To do that, though, they do need to stay current with technology. They need to be kept up to date. We have 5G mobile network coming in the near future. We already have 5G ready mobile handsets coming onto the UK market. 5G handset, but not yet 5G network. But we're getting ready for it. We're getting ready for it. So that mobile communication is something that the small to medium-sized enterprises do have to embrace as much as the larger enterprises. Social commerce. Social commerce, selling via social media. Facebook, LinkedIn, those social channels. The SMEs, the smaller organisations, have to buy into that platform as well. And probably most significant of all, they have to have what we call an omni-channel focus. Yes, have their shop frontage on the high street, have a website, have an e-commerce platform, have an app. But they have to have strategies around all of those to be able to push their business forward. Okay? If they're going to do that effectively, SMEs have to look at themselves and understand how they operate. Where can they make efficiencies? Where can they build in room for creating space for this new technology, this new way of doing business? They need to look at their operations. Can we streamline our operations in any way? Can we use this technology to streamline our business? Okay. Marketing to each channel, as we heard earlier, is significantly important for these organisations, as it is for all organisations, but for these smaller organisations, critically important if they are going to stay able to compete in their marketplace. But, and it's a big but, okay? It's a big but. SMEs do not have the buying power. They do not have the capital reserves of the large organisations. They don't necessarily have the skills, the understanding to be able to develop these platforms, to benefit from these platforms. Graduates that leave college typically go and get jobs with the big organisations. They don't typically go into the small to medium-sized enterprises. Why? Well, because the big organisations have graduate programmes. We can take them from our universities and put them through our graduate programme to turn them into one of us. Small to medium-sized enterprises don't tend to have those graduate programmes. Okay? So they lose out. They lose out in that skill set, that thinking, that knowledge. Also, in the UK at the moment, we are under what we call austerity. Does anybody know what austerity means?
Well, you tighten your belt.
We tighten our belt, thank you, yes. Just don't put my stomach in. Okay, so you eat it. Sheik. I don't know who he is. I think he's just coming off the street. Austerity means we have been under tight financial control as a country since 2008. 10 years of austerity in the past 10 years where many organisations are concerned. Okay? So, we're struggling. We've got the big organisations that have the capital, the spend, the recognition, not only in terms of customers, but in terms of skill set pull through. We have small organisations that are fighting to survive. They are, in terms of volume, the greatest number within our country, but they're fighting to survive. It's a dogfight. If they have a on-street presence, typically that on-street presence is disappearing. Our high streets have many empty shop units in them because these smaller organisations are struggling to compete with others in the marketplace. Now, I'm going to take you back to when we had some students. Yeah, do you remember? Okay, my 2 students here. These are the organisations that my students, or the visiting students to the UK, delivered some work on behalf of. They're very good examples of what I'm just talking about. Brainwave, for example, is a children's charity. They have a website, but it's not as up to date or as current as it could be. It's not mobile friendly, so you can only really best view it on a computer, a desktop. It doesn't have any e-commerce capability at all. So part of the work that the students did for that organisation was to identify how they could create an e-commerce platform. Likewise, Compass Disability Services, very similar, have an existing website, but it's just there for information, nothing more. As we heard earlier, today websites have to be very straightforward for people to navigate through. 2 clicks, really. I want to get to where I want to get to. Keep it simple, keep it clean. Their website is huge. As a customer, I couldn't find what I would look for on their website. I would give in. Exmoor National Park are a government organisation. It's the same thing. Their website is purely there for information. As a government organisation, they're having their funding pulled, removed by 2022. They have to consider how they are going to generate income for their organisation. They have no idea and no capability to do so at this present time. Their website, again, is purely for information. And it's the same for Walker's Farm Cottages. We have a young couple there who are running, it used to be a farm. That farm has diversified into holiday cottages in England. And they've taken it upon themselves to create their website and advertise their farm. And they've given it their best go. But if you looked at their website, I don't think it would entice you to go and stay there, and you certainly couldn't book anything with them online. Because again, they don't have the skills or knowledge to be able to do it themselves. So, the UK, how do we conclude? Amazing. Thank you. We're leading. What the statistics say, we are leading in terms of e-commerce globally. Well, we are, but it's all with those big organisations, and big organisations that are consolidating. We're not really leading in terms of our smaller organisations. We need to do more for those smaller organisations. There's something with a B word happening next year. I don't quite know. Remember what that thing is that's happening next year with the B word in it for the UK? Breg something? Whatever that might be, yeah? Following that, we need to look at ourselves quite deeply and say, how can we facilitate these organisations to have greater momentum in the marketplace? Now, one solution that I'm going to put to you as an audience, which came out of the experience that our students had in Taunton, and hopefully what our students here will get with you, is that the small to medium-sized enterprises and the smaller organisations really do benefit from interacting with students. The knowledge that students can bring to those organisations is considerable. Considerable. The organisations we were dealing with openly embraced the students, working with them, and the feedback that we received So I think if there is an opportunity, I think it's an opportunity for institutions like this, and mine, and yours, to actually start building closer links with these smaller organisations, and having kind of a partnership where we can put our students in to develop academically, but also add value to those organisations. Those organisations will then develop and have a good understanding and a robustness for the future. And I think that's something that through this programme, I think we can certainly prove the benefits of that. Okay? I'm done. Any questions? Hello?
I have like a question that you might look into the future. You said you are still second to Norway
Yes.
in e-commerce in Europe.
Spending across Europe, yeah.
How do you think that's going to change when the UK leaves? Is it going to be a big drop, a small drop?
I don't, to be honest, personally, I don't think there's going to be a very sharp cliff edge. I think that would just be a disaster. Yeah. There are too many people, businesses, individuals like me that have trusted purchases that I make from Europe. And I will always come back to those trusted purchases. Okay? It's having trust in that supplier. The unknown for us at the moment is what kind of tariffs will there be on the purchase of those goods once that nasty B word takes place. Yeah? I don't know what the answer to that is. That's for the politicians and the European politicians to ratify. But I don't think there will be a sharp cliff edge. I think we'll probably see a little bit of a dip maybe, but then I think once things balance out, we'll start to see it climbing up again when we start seeing the innovation that you and these other students can bring to the marketplace. Yeah? Hello?
How businesses could or should prepare for B word or look into any outcome that could happen?
So I didn't quite understand.
So basically, what should the businesses look into? Like, if that happens, if there is something, if there is prices going up, how the small businesses should look into this opportunity? What should they do?
One of the things that has come up in my business program is how these smaller organisations can partner with similar organisations in Europe. So, for example, I could have a paper business, you could have a book business. I could bring my products and we could work together as a business in its own right in Europe without necessarily having to cross the borders, shall we say. So that partnership working is still a little bit hazy on that, but those kind of things are being looked into right now. Many smaller organisations are looking to see, well, how can we affiliate with an embedded European organisation and become part, and vice versa, because it works the other way as well for the European organisation. That's just one idea that I've had kind of going around my degree programme. Okay? Hello. Hello. Your name, please? No. Oh, you're standing up.
Could you tell our students what need budget?
Bridgewater.
What need budget if they
budget.
want to open a store in United States?
Budget.
Budget.
Money. Otherwise known as spondoolies. Spondoolies? No? It's difficult to say. A web shop can be set up very quickly and very cheaply, as the Walker's Farm instance did. They used one of the broadly advertised web platforms, created their own website by training themselves to do it themselves, which is one of the reasons why it's not really appropriate for their business. But I think they did that for less than £500 to set that website up. There's an annual cost for the server, there's an annual cost for the website hosting, but they did that for less than £500. But the problem is that these organisations, like I've just said, will do it for themselves and then realise that it's not really working and they need some specialist advice to be brought in. Then they need to spend on that specialist advice. Now, as a previous business consultant, I happen to know that if I was to go and work for an organisation like that as a consultant, I would be charged out at £1,500 to £2,000 a day to do that work. Too much for a small organisation. Yeah. So hence the comment around, I think there's an opportunity for the students. I'm even looking at my institution of potentially creating a commercial opportunity for the college to sell the students time to these organisations for a small return in terms of fee. So yeah, it's a difficult one to answer. Hello.
Like part-time work for the students?
Well, yeah, why not? Why not?
Like,
Why not? It's that crossover between academic development and experiential time on our own. Yeah? Yeah, absolutely. Any more? Any more? Before I disappear?
No, yeah?
Done?
It was very great, so question.
No question.
No question.
No question. I will sign this as the highest bidder.
Bet